What is going on, everyone, and welcome to the Philly Frenzy podcast. I'm your host, Matt, as always. I got two of my boys here with me today. I got Rob. What's going on, Rob?
Not much, man. Excited to be doing a show again. I ain't been on in a minute.
Also got Zero Dark Jelly.
What's going on, Matt? We should be more excited with your opening, but that's okay.
All right, I'll work on the excitement throughout the show, and we'll go from there.
Me and Jelly can recite your opening word for word. I guarantee it.
I'm sorry. All right, look, we're not on here to make fun of.
What's going on, everybody? My name's Matt.
All right, look, we're not here to make fun of me, so let's jump right into this. NBA trade deadline is tomorrow. Lot of big names being tossed around. Rob and I are quote unquote Philadelphia fans. I don't really have a team. I follow players, but Philadelphia is one of the teams coming from that I follow more than any other team, even when they sucked. But jumping into this trade deadline, this Sixers team has been linked with a few guys. And not only have they been linked with guys, people that are teams that they're going to be contending against to actually win a championship this year have been linked with guys as well. Real quick, the name that pops right off is Kyle Lowry. Kyle Lowry, to me, fits this team the best out of anybody that they're talking about getting. Kyle Lowry is a defender. He's a guy that can create on and off ball, and he does shoot very well. So Lowry is somebody that I was interested in getting. Then seeing that he wanted to sign a 3-year deal after being traded, like he wants to be traded tomorrow and sign a 3-year deal on Friday. To me, I don't see that feasible, especially with the Sixers, as of right now, sitting $19 million under luxury for next year, and Bradley Beal hitting free agency. I'd like to see them try to go get Bradley Beal to, shake up the roster a little bit and get the extra money and go get Bradley Beal. Rob, what is your take on the Kyle Lowry?
I like Lowry's fit with the Sixers roster, but like you said, if he's looking for a long-term deal, then Philly's not really the place for him. I don't know. I really don't know who's going to trade for him and lock him up for 3 years, to be honest with you. So that might just be, something he wants but he can't get. Because he's a little old to be locking up for that long right now. Depends on the salary he's willing to take, though.
Yeah, I know we talked about that. If you could get him for 3 years, $40 million.
Yeah,
I'm in.
If you can get him for on the cheap, then sure. But if he's looking for big time money, then I definitely don't want the Sixers to go after him. Plus, I think there's other guys that also fit this roster really well that are available right now. He's just the guy I'm hearing the most chatter about, and rightly so. He's pretty much the most decorated guy on the market. So he's not only going to come in and give you good play, he's going to give you, a leadership role in the locker room. He's, been to and won a finals before. I know he wasn't the main driving force on the court to win that finals, but I think he was one of the main driving forces in the locker room and keeping that team focused, because Kawhi Leonard's not a team leader. So somebody else had to be doing that job, and Lowry was the vet there.
Yeah, don't quote me on this, but I saw today that Kyle Lowry, amongst active players, has the second highest win percentage since entering the league, only behind LeBron James. So that definitely speaks volume to me. I know people want to sit here and say it's, oh, well, he played with DeRozan and he played with Kawhi, but he's always been a quote-unquote winner. Jumping from Lowry to Philadelphia, because I do feel that Miami's going to be the team that gets him. And
that's what I was just about to say, Matt. Shoot himself, Shoot him to South Beach.
That's
Yeah, well,
that's where I see him
That makes the
landing.
most sense.
that's the other team.
Him,
That's the other
him,
team in the conversation.
Butler, and Bam.
The issue
Great
with
three.
the issue with him going to Miami, there's a lot of talks that they want Tyler Hero,
Okay.
and Miami wasn't interested in trading Tyler Hero for 27-year-old Bradley Beal, so I don't see them being interested in trading for 34-year-old Kyle Lowry, plus ones. They want ones Tyler Hero. So that kind of makes it a little difficult for me to actually think Miami's actually going to get him. The one team that's actually slipped into the conversation now with Kyle Lowry, he's now the third team in this race, is the Los Angeles Lakers. And there's talks that Dennis Schroeder is going to be a part of the deal if it can be done. So
That's easy thinking. Get rid of Schroeder for Kyle Lowry, and they don't even really need a first round pick if they get one. You know what I mean? Just throw it out there. They're almost destined to win another chip. So
Yeah, absolutely.
that's
if he goes to the Lakers, that's a great move
That's
for
a
the Lakers.
steal for the Lakers.
they're also in the process of moving Harrell. As of an hour ago, they were working out a deal sending him to the Hornets. Not sure what they're receiving in return, but he is
Lonzo Ball.
Lonzo's in New Orleans.
Go after Lonzo.
LaMelo, baby.
No,
Not gonna-
Except
that-
LaMelo
that- I don't
just
think
got
they'll
hurt
definitely-
and is likely out for the season.
Charlotte,
So.
They definitely won't give up LaMelo. LaMelo's their franchise guy.
No, he's for sure their franchise guy. They might give up. I don't know who else they even have on that team, to be honest with you.
there's a young center
Sorry,
that's
I
being
don't
talked.
watch the Hornets.
There's a young center being talked about being traded to the Lakers in the Harrell trade. I just got to remember and look up his name.
They should go back to the Pelicans and get Lonzo Ball back.
All right, so you're bringing up Lonzo. Let's just jump over to Lonzo. So
He is on the market as well.
in my opinion, out of the three teams that have the shot at draft or signing or trading, for Lowry, I think the Lakers have the best shot with Schroeder now being on the table. And you already know they don't care about luxury tax. So
Yeah.
now jumping into the Lonzo Ball conversation. Lonzo Ball is actually very interesting to me. Rob, I mentioned this to you earlier. I would go in a different approach here. If I was Philadelphia, I'd go after Alonzo and JJ Redick from New Orleans. Work on a deal with LaMarcus Aldridge after the buyout, and then go and get Buddy Hield from Sacramento. I know it seems like a lot to do in a 24-hour process, but you're adding four.
That's basically getting a whole new starting five. Like,
Yeah, but
that's
the
what
thing
I
is,
just said.
these guys aren't starting. These guys are going to come in. They're going to be rotational pieces. Lonzo Ball is going to be the only one that comes in and starts.
Well, I know Reddick wouldn't.
I don't
start,
see
but
I don't see LaMarcus Aldridge sitting the bench.
As a sixth man?
No.
There's conversations about him going to the Lakers to be like the eighth
And
man
then
in
what-
rotation.
No, I don't
And
think
then
he'd-
what's Buddy Hield? You're 7.
No, Buddy Hield's your sixth man.
so
But
LaMarcus
Aldridge
is
is
seventh
my
man off the
sixth
bench.
guy.
Why couldn't it start Embiid and do like a twin tower thing with Aldridge?
So you're moving Tobias Harris to the bench?
You can start Tobias Harris at the 3.
So you're moving Ben Simmons
So you're
to...
moving Ben to the bench.
Ben Simmons to the 2.
And who's your one? Lonzo?
Lonzo.
That's a tall lineup, bro.
That's a long lineup. That's a lineup.
Exactly.
That's a lineup that...
That's a defensive lineup.
Wow.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
Yes. Or you can even move Lonzo to the 2. They can switch off because Ben Simmons is not really a 2, so I mean he could be, but you're playing more of the bully ball right there. It could work. That's a long ass lineup. I mean, you see what the Lakers did with their big men. They had him out there.
And it's
That's a
not...
long-
I could see that being a lineup they use. I don't know that it would be a lineup they use all the time because I think part of the reason you bring Aldridge in is to get good minutes at the center when JoJo needs a rest.
No, of course.
But I
But
think it's going
that
to...
would be a hell of a lineup.
We lost Rob.
Yes, we did lose Rob. He said that'd be a hell of a lineup, and then we lost him. But while we're waiting on Rob to return,
There he is.
what I'm getting at is if you got Lonzo Ball to come in and Lonzo played the 2 with Ben at the 1. All right, so Toby moves to the 3 where I believe Toby should be playing, not the 4. LaMarcus Aldridge and Joel Embiid can exist together.
Okay.
Oh yeah,
They're both.
For sure they
They're,
Only thing is really now you're looking at shooting. I mean, I know Lonzo Ball's been having a decent year shooting wise. Just that you don't have that knockdown stand run around pick.
I mean,
shooter. That's the only thing.
You got them coming off the bench with Seth Curry and JJ Redick at that point.
Right.
I mean, and if you end up getting Buddy Hield, then I mean, you're talking about 3 guys coming off the bench that could shoot at a high clip.
I don't know if Philly has enough pull and power and stuff and assets to actually get that done though.
Okay, so non-biased here. You got 4 first-round picks between 21 and 24.
You're gonna give all those up for those guys?
You also have.
Depends if you win now or not.
Exactly.
You also have Tyrese Maxey. You have Thibault, and you also have Shake Milton.
Yeah.
Thibault's the guy that I would want to hold on to because I believe Thibault is going to be the better of the 3. If you can. This is where I was playing pick and choose earlier as a GM with Rob. If you go to New Orleans and you say, here's 2 2s, Maxey and Danny Green, give us Lonzo, you're going to be buying out JJ, just throw him in the deal.
You could. I mean, Philly really needs that guy to come around screens. I mean, they already had it with Redick, didn't they? I mean,
they had it with Redick. JoJo and Redick have a very good bond. There's reports out that JoJo, during JoJo's crazy times, as people would like to call it, the only person he would listen to in the locker room was JJ Redick. So to me, I do feel like bringing JJ back isn't just, boosting your roster. I feel like that's going to boost confidence in Joel and allow Joel to be like, all right, they trust in me. They're going to get one of my really good friends. He's going to come in and produce, but he's also going to be somebody that I know I could, kind of rely on when the going gets tough. I know I could trust in what he's saying to me.
Yeah, the thing with the Philly is they need perimeter shooters. They need to stretch out the defense so Ben Simmons and Joel can really work. You know what I mean? I know Joel can stretch the defense a little bit, but
to have Buddy Hield.
Yeah, they
want them to target Buddy Hield.
They need someone that can come around screens and worried about so they can't sag on defense. That's what the Sixers need because Ben Simmons can't hit the fucking ocean if you gave it to him. Like,
so
he can't do it.
Lonzo, I believe Lonzo's going to end up with the Knicks.
With the Knicks?
With the Knicks.
I'm pointing towards Chicago.
I think the Knicks are going to end up offering a little bit more than Chicago because the Knicks feel like they have a good team. I mean,
but what are you going to do with the Knicks? What are they going to offer up, and where are you going to put Barrett? Barrett's basically running the 1.
Barrett moves to the 2.
Here's the thing, I don't see the Knicks getting Lonzo. I see the Knicks getting Victor Oladipo. They have the most cap space in the NBA. They got $13 million in cap space, and they have.
The Knicks might pull a sneaky one. They might go after JJ.
See, JJ, I don't think fits there as well because he's older, and that whole team is so young, and they're not quite ready yet, and they still won't be ready if they get Oladipo, but they'll be real close to ready if they get Oladipo, and they're the ones with the money to be able to bring them in easy. They have $13 million in cap space, so they don't have to move.
Oh, we lost Rob. There we go.
All right. So they have $13 million in cap space. I know where he's getting at because we had this conversation.
Right.
So it's not actually Rob's back, so I'll let him.
I just think that the cap space allows them more flexibility, and Oladipo kind of being, honestly, he's the best player available all around package wise right now out of the guys that are free agents. So, and he also carries I believe he carries the most salary out of all these guys too.
Correct.
So it's going to be the toughest to bring him in. Now, yeah, Houston's going to want. Houston right now is asking a lot for him. I think they're going to have to end up taking less because nobody's going to offer what they want. And he's already pretty much said he's out after this year. So if you want to get something back for him,
you don't see Oladipo fitting in Miami.
I could see him in Miami. The issue is
I do see him fitting in Miami. I just think that Miami going to be willing to give up more than the Knicks are?
If Oladipo was go to Miami, they would definitely have to give Tyler Hero.
They're not gonna. Okay, so here's my thing.
They're not parting ways with Hero.
They're not gonna part ways with Hero, and not only that, I don't think that is the Florida team that's going to actually get him. If it came down to both Florida teams, Orlando's made a very big push, and they've put Aaron Gordon on the table for Oladipo. And that kind of beats out anything that Miami can offer that has any kind of value when you look at their players.
Besides Hero.
That's my point. They're not offering Tyler Hero.
Right.
So, Aaron Gordon outweighs anybody else on that Miami roster that's up for trade.
Right.
So
it's all right, Shaq. We know you're in traffic with those squeaky tires. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I mean, that's the reason I think the Knicks, in my opinion, are probably the favorite. And right now they're kind of being talked about as the favorite for Oladipo, and it's because they got a lot of young guys that they can move off of, and they have cap space, and they have,
Yeah, but will Oladipo bring that Knicks? That's what you got to look at next too. Is will this certain player bring that team to the next level to be a contender? Yeah. Not saying for a chip, not even for a chip, just to make it to that Eastern Conference Finals.
Nobody brings the Knicks, I think, to the Eastern Conference Finals, but bringing in Oladipo would allow them to give a Philadelphia or a Brooklyn at least a little bit of a series.
Right.
Where right now I think if they meet Philly or Brooklyn in the playoffs, they got a real good chance of being swept right out.
Right.
So Oladipo at least brings you to the point where, okay, now we got Oladipo. If we can just get one more piece, then we're true contenders.
Now let's talk about the Nets real quick, since we brought them up, and someone being contender with them because everyone thinks they're going to be a solidified Eastern Conference Finals, team. They are pushing for JJ Redick as well.
Yes,
like there's big talks about JJ Redick, like really landing out of all the teams that are in in the works of the trade deadline. The Nets are really pushing for JJ Redick, and I feel like the Nets are probably the biggest opponents to any other team of grabbing JJ Redick. I think he does land with the Nets. So I think right now JJ Redick at his age, he's looking for chips.
This conversation is what I'm going to bring up is something that I've said to both of you, and I do believe this. Whoever wins the Eastern Conference, the number 1 seed, is the team that's going to represent the East in the finals. I don't believe Brooklyn or Philadelphia can manage to play Milwaukee and then turn around and play each other again in a 7-game series. Milwaukee's going to push you 6 to either team. And I don't know if I can say Milwaukee doesn't beat either team.
I don't think they do.
If PJ Tucker comes in and shoots 45% from 3 and isn't actually going to play on defense like he's done in the past, Milwaukee's a scary team. And
Milwaukee's a scary team, but you got to look at what is Giannis's mindset. What is Giannis going to do? Giannis is the core.
Never closed nobody before.
That's what I'm
saying.
I don't believe.
Is Giannis going to be Giannis, or is Giannis going to be ghost Giannis
I don't believe Milwaukee is the team to be worried about in the playoffs, but Milwaukee's
No,
going
'cause all
to
you gotta do is pack it in.
Milwaukee's going to be the team that's going to, in a sense, eliminate the other from the Eastern Conference Finals. So if Philly plays Milwaukee and then has to turn around and play Brooklyn, Philly's not beating Brooklyn in a 7-game series after a Milwaukee series. If Brooklyn beats Milwaukee and then has to play Philly, I don't think Brooklyn can beat Philly in a 7-game series.
I do.
I think
do.
that Milwaukee series
Listen.
series is going to drain the number 2 seed.
No way. Brooklyn has enough firepower on that team, and especially if they get JJ Redick, and those guys are proved. There's champions on that team. They have the willpower and determination and enough like staff around them to get them ready for the next series. Definitely, because everyone's eyes are on New Jersey, and people think they're gonna win. They're gonna win a chip. They're definitely. You have Kyrie out there. You know he's gonna come out. You have KD on there. You know he's gonna come out. You have Blake Griffin who hasn't dunked since 2019. All of a sudden he's going out there and dunking on people and dunking and shit. You know what I mean? Like these guys want to win it. These whatever people say, oh, they have no defense, that blah 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 this and that blah blah. They're gonna be a different team in the playoffs. They're definitely gonna be a different team in the playoffs. It's gonna shock some people. I feel like New Jersey, even if they had to play Milwaukee and they had to play the Sixers, they'll beat the Sixers. I feel like the Sixers always choke. The Sixers always choke somehow. It's always something with the Sixers. They can't get over that hump. I'm not trying to.
All right, so you got Brooklyn beating the Sixers to go to the finals.
Right.
What does Philly need at the deadline to beat Brooklyn?
Shooters.
Thank you.
Plural?
They need shooters. They need dead shooters.
So
if
they make a deal right now with Sacramento and they bring in Buddy Hield,
that would be good, but do I think Buddy Hield is going to bring them to the top?
You don't think Buddy? If all they're trading is Danny Green and a pick,
I mean, it's a great like the Sixers are a great team, but you look at the Sixers. I don't like if I was a team to face the Sixers, I'm not really scared of playing the Sixers. I'm not. Like that's a team I wouldn't be scared to see in the playoffs. That's me.
If I'm Brooklyn, I would be. I don't have a center. Joel's going to score 50 a game.
Let him score 50 a game. Then stop the other team. That's what most teams do. We know he's going to go crazy. It's either we stop him and let someone else score, or we let the main player score and we stop everybody else.
If the Sixers
have that other player to give you 50.
They have Toby who's averaging 24.
That's great, but in the playoffs in the playoffs. I'm talking about playoffs. I'm not talking about.
I've watched Tobias Harris disappear too many times in the playoffs.
I'm not talking about like everyone talks about. Oh, he's averaging this in the season, this and that, blah blah. We've seen it with other players. We've seen it with Giannis. Giannis sometimes just chokes and disappears in the playoffs. You know what I mean? We've seen it with certain players. We've seen it with James Harden a lot of the times. Like he's great during the season. He had some good games in the playoffs, but then you don't see that regular season player. All right, let Joel Embiid go for 50. That's great. But
here's my question mark. If they go get Lonzo or they go and get Buddy Hield,
Lonzo's definitely not going to bring him over the top.
Okay, so both of these guys are good defenders and they can shoot.
Lonzo's not a shooter. Lonzo's having a good shooting year.
But they both can shoot better than Ben Simmons.
Oh, of course, anybody can shoot. My 6-year-old daughter can shoot better than Ben Simmons.
All right, so they're both defenders, and they both can shoot the rock.
Okay.
You're now adding a fourth defender to this Sixers team.
That's great. You still got to put points on the board.
Yeah, but if you're holding guys under fucking, excuse my language, 100 points, like, say you play against Brooklyn and they're scoring 95 to 100 when they're used to scoring 140, and their defense isn't up to par. If Joel's getting you 50, you need another 50 points. You're telling me Tobias Harris isn't going to give you at least 15. You're telling me Seth Curry isn't going to give you 10 off the bench. Danny Green's not going to give you anywhere between 8 to 15.
No, I don't think Danny Green's going to. I think Danny Green will give you 8.
No, Danny Green's an elite defender.
I just don't see it. I'm like that. This is me, man. I don't see it. I don't like if the Nets play the Sixers they're not going to sweep them. It's going to be a good series, but the Nets come out on top of that series. They literally have too much firepower. Too much. They can literally stretch the floor. The NBA game now is not about twos. It's about threes. It's about stretching the defense. You know what I mean? Like Joel Embiid's not going to be able to. Joel Embiid's going to guard who? He's going to guard Jordan. Okay. Who's going to guard KD?
Ben Simmons.
Ben Simmons. Okay. Ben Simmons is not guarding KD. Sorry.
Why isn't
Ben
he?
Simmons is not. He's not guarding KD.
Why isn't he?
KD in my mind is probably one of the best scorers on the planet.
And Ben Simmons is one of the best defensive players in the league this year.
I don't care. It's playoffs. It's playoffs. Playoffs. That's regular season.
All right, keep going.
Okay. Who's guarding Kyrie?
And did I get Buddy Hield?
You're gonna have Buddy Hield guard Kyrie?
But I'm asking a question. Do I have Buddy Hield?
You have whoever you want.
All right, no. Thybulle's guarding him.
Okay, Thybulle's guarding Kyrie?
Yes.
Okay. All right. That just doesn't make sense. It's just I don't care. Thibault, whoever you can fucking Scottie Pippen.
Well, no, you can't say Scotty because if Scotty was playing in his prime right now and was playing against that Brooklyn team, he'd be able to lock up all three of them guys. All right.
I know I'm exaggerating. I know I'm exaggerating it, but I'm just saying it's like they have too much to and the addition with Blake Griffin, I think Blake Griffin's going to be a different animal in the playoffs. I really do. I feel like he's rejuvenated because he has guys he can count on around him.
He can't
Probably
shoot
for the first time ever.
Huh? Yeah,
he can't shoot.
He doesn't need to. He doesn't need to shoot, Matt. There's
Listen,
if you leave
Blake Griffin over, he's going to give you that 17-foot shot. He can hit some threes sometimes. He's going to give you that 17-foot jumper.
Or he's just going to fucking dunk it.
Yeah, like that. And if Brooklyn gets JJ Redick, I feel like it's going to be very scary for these teams. That's my opinion.
My question is, what? So I think the determining factor of that series, if the finals ends up what everybody thinks is going to end up, Philly-Brooklyn, are we getting the version of Kyrie and KD that play defense? Or are we getting the version of Kyrie and KD that don't want to play defense? I'm not even mentioning James Harden because James Harden's never played defense a second in his fucking career.
I think you're going to get the championship Cavaliers Kyrie.
If you get the championship Cavaliers Kyrie defense, Brooklyn wins that series in 5.
He has to me the second best player in the NBA as his duo, Kevin Durant.
And Kevin Durant's been the third option.
So Kevin Durant's been out, so and Kyrie just went
on the floor. He was
yeah,
the
but
third option.
We're talking about
the other two.
And Kyrie is back on Dennis Rodman need a break, so he disappeared from the team again.
That's the other thing. Is Kyrie even playing?
No, not at the moment. He is on
a flake.
He's on a break.
Come to playoffs.
Oh,
come to playoffs. Can he mentally handle it anymore? Can he mentally handle it anymore?
Yes,
he can't even mentally handle a regular season.
Let's cut all shenanigans. All top players sit out sometime during the regular season. We've all bought tickets to games and we want to go see our players and they're taking a break.
Yeah, but there's a difference between taking a 1-2 game break and disappearing for a month and then coming back.
Going to take a month sabbatical, yeah.
Let them. They're still winning games?
Yeah.
Okay. There you go. If that tells you that's how heavy firepower that team is, they can win without their star guard there.
Does it tell you how good the team is, or does it show how bad the East is?
It shows you how good the team is.
Philadelphia's 5-1 since Joel got hurt.
Well, let's say this: the East has always been bad. The East has really never been the powerhouse East. It's never been. It's always been West dominated. The league has always been West dominated. You know what I mean? They had some years where the East teams won the championship and all this blah 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 blah, but it's really been like everyone almost every year says whoever comes out the West is gonna win it, and then the East surprises you and wins the championship.
Yeah, I mean that is true for most of my lifetime anyway.
Yeah, I mean Mine
The
too.
most exciting series in the playoffs for the majority of my lifetime has been the Western Conference Finals.
All right, so we hit.
It was more exciting to watch the Western Conference Finals when you were watching Timmy D's San Antonio team versus the Shaq and Kobe Lakers than the finals was most years.
So we hit on a few guys. Does the Spencer Dinwiddie possibly being moved, does that hurt Brooklyn's roster?
He's one of their better defenders.
And he's like one of their.
Doesn't hurt their firepower, obviously, but it does hurt them defensively. It depends on what they receive for him as well.
Who, for Aaron Gordon?
They're just saying that they're gonna move him.
Spencer Dinwiddie's on the market. There's no real like this person for Dinwiddie. It's kind of just like they're shopping him.
Said anything like that yet? They're just shopping him, which is kind of weird to me because, like I said, he's one of their better defenders on a team that's already kind of hurting on defense, at least statistically right now. So it's kind of a strange thing to me that he's on the market, but
it's strange to me because he can score.
Are they using him? Yeah, but are they shopping him like to these teams with other guys on the market, like
an Andre Drummond,
Dinwiddie in a package? Does that get me this guy or this guy or this guy?
So can we recap on Aaron Gordon, where we think he's gonna go?
If Aaron Gordon goes anywhere, it's gonna be Houston.
Aaron Gordon's tough.
It's gonna be Houston.
I think if Gordon gets moved, it's gonna be Houston. You're gonna see Oladipo in Orlando. I
feel like that's a good fit for Aaron Gordon.
It seems like Oladipo wants to be back in Orlando. Orlando wants him back. Gordon's been the guy that's kind of, I don't want to be here anymore. Yeah. You know, you kind of put him in a deal for Oladipo.
That trade makes sense to me, and I think
that makes
a big
sense.
The most likely.
That will fill the hole of PJ Tucker.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's like he perfect fit.
I think the biggest question mark is, what is Orlando doing with Oladipo? Are you bringing him in and then you're going to try to build around him again? You've tried it before; it didn't work.
That's a very good question. That's a very good question. If that's the team that is like his destination, that's a good point. Like you already had him, it didn't work.
The thing about him is though, he's one of the few. Back when Orlando had him too, he wasn't the player he is now.
Correct.
He's a much more developed player now.
I agree.
It's a different story building around him now than it was, 5 years ago. But
yeah, but he's gonna have to realize they have to realize this is like ground floor stuff. This is like we're basically gonna rebuild for you. You know what I mean? Like what are they gonna get in the off season? What are they going to bring in with him if they trade for him and stuff like that? If they pick him up, like this is the things he has to think about. Like,
you're trying to find out why Orlando would want him. Orlando would want him because he's he's probably the only star in the league that wants to be in fucking Orlando.
The thing with me when it comes to Oladipo to Orlando, if I'm Orlando, I understand that he's a star. He wants to be in Orlando. That's all cool. That's all fine. That's great. But you spending all of this money on Victor Oladipo is taking you, mid-level of the pack in the Eastern Conference. You're going to be a 5-6 seed at most. And you're going to give up your lottery chances each year of actually possibly getting a good guy in the draft. And you're not winning anything because you're not even a top 3 team in the East.
Why not go after Oladipo and LaMarcus Aldridge?
LaMarcus Aldridge gives you what, a year?
Yeah.
The rest of this year? That Orlando team isn't ready if you put Aldridge on that team. And Aldridge knows that, so he's not going to go there.
Not, but maybe they can re-sign him.
I don't think Aldridge would go there. If he's going to be a guy, like you said, with J.J. Redick, who's chasing rings, he's going to be chasing a ring. He's not going to go to a team that has no shot at all. Orlando has no shot. I believe the Knicks have a better shot of being contenders, getting Lonzo Ball or Victor Oladipo than Orlando does getting Victor Oladipo.
Yeah, well, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm saying if I'm Orlando, your initial question was why would Orlando want him?
Yes.
Because he wants to be in Orlando and they can't land a star to save their life. So if you've got a star who said, "Hey, this is where I want to be," and you're Orlando, you have to go get that guy. Because
You know what I
not
would like
only
to
is
see?
it going to win you more games, it's going to put ass in your seats, and they have to make money at the end of the day. It's a business.
Yeah, you know what I like to see? Just talking about Aldridge for a little bit. I like to see him go to Miami. I think that would bring that team to a deep playoff run.
If they could pull off, getting Aldridge in a buyout and possibly getting Kyle Lowry in a trade and not having to deal Tyler Hero, I think Duncan would, or what's his name? Duncan Robinson. I'm sorry, I was drawing a blank. If Duncan Robinson is in the deal for Kyle Lowry and you get Lowry and then Aldridge comes walking along with him,
I think they could re-sign Aldridge. That's why I'm saying that. I think that would be one team that could re-sign him, that he would want to stay there, because I feel like they went, even though it was the bubble, they did the whole bubble chip thing.
My point is, if you got Aldridge and Lowry in Miami to go with Jimmy and Bam and you kept Hero, I think they might be the favorite in the East at that point.
I don't think they'd be in favor. I think they would be in talks of contending with these other three teams.
It would become a 3-team race instead of
Yes.
a 2-team race. It
Yes.
would be the Sixers, them, and the Nets instead of just everybody saying, "Oh, it's Sixers or Nets."
Yeah, because I like everyone's like, oh, some people talk about Milwaukee. Milwaukee's just out of the talks. I feel like as a contender, so I feel like it would be Miami, just like Rob said, Miami, Philly, and the Nets.
Is anybody else finding it interesting that we're not really hearing Boston's names in any of these possible trade scenarios?
I don't feel like it's that crazy, because Boston has a pretty solid team, and I think they want to look for that one more thing in the draft wise, to bring them over the top.
Yeah.
I feel like if they don't find it in the draft, like that legit. I feel like they need like a legit big man.
Okay, so that's where it's getting.
Andre Drummond.
It's
Why are
getting.
they not on the table? For him?
There's been conversations with Andre Drummond about Boston. It's kind of been hush hush. It's been brushed under the carpet. There's been reports that they've been interested in Drummond. They're waiting to see if there's a buyout.
And you got to remember, Danny Ainge is a very, very sneaky person, so he doesn't like to make a lot of stuff public too. I've noticed.
I think if Drummond goes there and they could get healthy, that's another team you put in this race. I think then it becomes a 4-team race.
I absolutely agree, because they have the young core, especially if they keep Jaylen Brown for a while and Tatum together. I feel like that would be a very, very scary team.
Oh yeah,
I agree. That will give them the defensive presence down low.
Well, that's why I was saying, like, it's kind of weird you're not hearing them when yeah, they've got a lot of guys there, but right now it doesn't seem like it's clicking correct. So maybe you switch off one of those guys for one of these other guys, and see, it's just kind of weird that they're not even in the conversation for, like, well, maybe we just get this additional role player that puts us back into the title conversation.
The issue with Boston is they've been dealing with injuries all year. They've lost, I believe, 7 of their last 10. They fell to under 500 for the first time in a few years. Danny Ainge might be sitting here saying, I can't go all in on a big guy, and we're not even competing this year.
Right.
A guy like Drummond's going to be on the market next year as a free agent. Are you going to put all your marbles and go in and get Andre Drummond right now if you're not going to compete?
That's why I feel like they're waiting for the draft. I feel like there's enough injuries and they fell back a little bit. You know what I mean? I feel like they know they're not a contender this year just because of all the injuries and stuff like that. So that's why I really feel like they're waiting on the draft to see if they can get maybe, that one other, wing player or that big man that they really, really need. Maybe get like a power forward, type of deal in the draft, and then they can bring on Drummond for that 5.
As much as I would hate to see this, and actually, let me rephrase that. As enjoyable as this would be to see, I would hate because it's Boston. Imagine them sweeping in under the carpet right now and just going, all right, here's Kemba Walker 2 first. Give me Kyle Lowry.
Never.
You're
Kemba,
gonna get rid of Kemba for Kyle Lowry?
why
They're
not?
Never give.
I would
they're
get
never
rid
gonna
of
give us-
I would get rid of Kemba in a heartbeat. I'm sorry, he hasn't lived up to that contract they gave him.
They're not giving up Kemba. But you also got to think too the injury wise, people around him. That's why you got to bring.
Yeah, but even when they were competing at a high level the last year, 2 years with him there, he was always like you're paying him this kind of money for a 15-point a game point guard?
I mean, your point guard's not going to. Your point guard doesn't. Well, what other point guards giving you 30 a night?
Curry?
Kyrie and
Curry's-
Curry, bro.
Steph Curry's a totally different animal, the different planet. Like he has the ball in his hands because he has nobody else on the court with him. And you know what, Dame Lillard's a different animal. He doesn't really have anybody else on the court with him either.
Russell Westbrook?
Russell Westbrook, the stat
Wow.
chaser.
I mean,
Russell Westbrook, the
he
stat chaser,
scores
come on.
he scores more than 15.
That's great. But could you see Russell Westbrook in Celtics? Everyone's just stand there. Let me get the rebound and let me just check up 30 shots a game.
Oh, let's just jump to the other guy that's been has had injury issues, and he's from your favorite team, Derrick Rose.
Yeah. What about Derrick Rose?
He's played great recently.
Of course he has. Yeah. I'm happy for him. What about him?
In Detroit, I'd rather have Derrick Rose right now than Kemba Walker.
Detroit. Now in Detroit, he's in Detroit. That's why Blake Griffin want to get out of Detroit.
Actually, I
Because
believe he
there's
got
nobody
traded to the Knicks.
He didn't want to. Blake Griffin was checked out.
I'm pretty sure Derrick Rose got traded back to the Knicks.
Yeah.
So, but I don't think he's played a game yet, or there's conversations that he's going there or some shit. I don't know exactly.
He's playing great right now, but the reason, basically, you go to Detroit for your career to die now, and then you get out of there and you get rejuvenated. That's what Detroit is. I don't want to hear about Kemba Walker's a good point guard. He's going to give you 15. He's going to he does his job, what he needs to do. Kemba Walker is a great point guard.
Sure.
He's not going to give you 30. He's not a Steph Curry. He's not a Dame Lillard. No, there's only two people that's like that. Is that Steph Curry and Dame Lillard? That's it.
Luka Doncic.
we're
And
not
Kyrie when he's not being a flake, and Luka
Doncic.
You're not
Luka
telling
Doncic.
me you take Kemba Walker over Luka Doncic.
I'm not saying that.
Oh.
But I mean, Luka Doncic is
God,
just
no.
another animal. He's a point forward.
Yeah.
That's totally different.
Trey Young?
What about Trae Young? I don't like Trae Young.
I don't think
I don't
he's
like
that
Trae
good.
Young. I don't like Trae Young. I think Trae Young. He's a good player, but I think he's overrated.
Speaking of Trey Young, power forward from Atlanta has been rumored to be on the move. I believe his name is John Collins.
John Collins is a great player. I feel like he's a really good player.
He's a 3-point shooter who could spread the court, and he's not a liability on defense. So he's definitely somebody that you might see moved right at the deadline.
Yeah, it's pretty
Ooh.
surprising that he's even popping up as available to me.
They're seeing trade value in him. Atlanta's not in the playoff at the moment.
That's because
Brooklyn?
Atlanta's
Brooklyn?
stinks, too.
No.
Brooklyn?
No.
Please, God,
No.
Brooklyn?
No.
Brooklyn?
No.
Why
You
not?
Stop that. You stop putting that
Why not?
juju into the air right
Why
now.
not? Why not?
Because I don't want to see him in Brooklyn.
Why?
Okay, so you're just going to give all these guys to Brooklyn. Is Michael Jordan coming out of retirement and playing for Brooklyn this year?
Oh, look, we're on our
Yeah.
feelings. Brooklyn's a high destination for people right now. They want to win. They see it. They see it.
It's a high
And you're in
destination.
New York City.
It's a high destination, but how many players can you actually get, and quality players that are, not making vet minimum?
Well, you're saying, oh, Brooklyn doesn't have a center.
Yeah, but they're in conversations for Andre Drummond. They're in conversations for John Collins. They're in conversations for, this person and that person. They're in conversations for J.J. Redick, which is $13 million.
Yeah, and
DeAndre Jordan is getting paid a shit ton of money to be nothing.
yeah, and they got more assets to give up. They're looking at a championship today.
Brooklyn hurt themselves. Brooklyn really hurt themselves when they traded Jared Allen. I'm sorry. I would have told them right off the bat, I'm not trading Jared Allen because Jared Allen would have made that team the best team ever.
They're looking at a championship today. That's what they're looking at. They're looking at a championship today.
Yeah, but that Brooklyn team would have beat the 73-9 Golden State Warriors with Jared Allen on that team.
No way. No way.
What?
No, I don't believe it.
I don't want to give Brooklyn any kind of credit, but if you're telling me all 5 guys stay healthy, Jared Allen is one of the best defensive centers in the league. You give them an actual defensive presence?
That's great, a defensive presence, but you got to think that the fucking Golden State Warriors weren't bringing it as a whole that much. A defensive presence where? On who? On who? He's not a defensive fucking presence on a 3-point shooter. He's not. The Golden State Warriors were a fucking running gun team from the 3. From half court. You had to guard people coming over half court. No way. I don't. Yeah, there's a great defensive presence down low, but there wasn't really anyone, fucking mashing and banging the boards down low with the Golden State Warriors. Tell me one person.
Draymond Green?
Draymond Green was bashing down low for rebounds, but Draymond Green can stretch the floor as well.
They weren't playing against Rudy Gobert and Joel Embiid and Bam.
I'm not saying they weren't, but really look at that Golden State Warrior team that you're talking about, and that in the Brooklyn team, and really tell me that, because I think that Golden State Warrior would have had a good chance against the Bulls.
I think this Brooklyn team with Jared Allen at the 5 has a very good chance against both of them.
No way. I don't.
With Blake Griffin in the starting lineup and Spencer Dinwiddie coming off the bench as the 6th man, yes, I do.
You're saying they could have beat that 73 win team?
Yes.
No. Nope. No. Not a shot.
Okay.
Not a damn shot.
That's pre-injury Kevin Durant, bro.
There's no way.
That was dropped 40 against with LeBron on him.
You literally had to be on P's and Q's for all fucking 5 players on the court, bro. And they had people coming off the bench too for them. That's a run and gun team. It might have been like a smaller team, but that was a run and gun team. And with Jared Allen, they want to be able to keep up.
Okay.
The NBA is a stretch game. It's a stretch the floor game now. It's not a big man game anymore. It's not about, you know what I mean? Yeah, you have a great defensive presence. You might get a couple more boards and stuff like that. But it comes down to who's fucking hitting more threes. That's all the NBA is now.
All right. So is there anything else?
Yeah, real quick before we wrap this up.
Free agency.
While we're talking this trade deadline, real quick, team on the Western Conference. We're not going to talk Clippers because I really don't feel like Clippers are close. I think they're missing. No. I think they're missing more than one piece, and they're not.
But wait, Matt, who? There wasn't someone in the talks about getting the Clippers going after, or him really going back to Clippers. Who was that? I saw something the other day.
There was conversations about Kyle Lowry.
Yeah. Okay. It was Kyle Lowry. I thought
yes. But they kind of fell out of it.
Yep.
And it seems like they're trying to move some of their pieces off the bench. I've heard rumors Lou Williams is on the market. I don't know if he's actually on the market, but
I wouldn't want to go to the Clippers. I wouldn't want to play with fucking Paul George. I'm sorry. I think he's washed.
But the team that I want to bring
another real quick question as far as out west, you want to bring up out west. Why aren't we hearing Phoenix and Utah trying to go after some of these guys?
Okay, so you kind of beat me to the point here. We could hit the Suns real quick after, but is there anything that Utah can do at the deadline to push them over the Lakers? Because I feel like they're probably the closest team
in the West. Why not the Mavs?
I don't even know. Are the Mavs even in the playoff race right now? At one point they were sitting 11th.
Yeah.
I know they were struggling. They've been dealing with injuries.
Yeah.
Utah's got the best record in the NBA. They have shooters. They have defenders.
The Mavericks are
Right.
the 8th seed out west right now.
All right, so they are in.
19 record.
Okay, so they are now in the 8th seed. So, yeah,
But Utah.
Utah.
was-
They have shooters. They have a
Right.
ridiculous amount of shooters, and they got arguably the 6th man of the year right now in Jordan Clarkson, who is just balling.
Wait. They have shooters. They stretch the floor, right? 3-point game, and they have the what? The best what?
Best
They
6th
have
man.
the best record. You said?
Yeah, they have the best record.
Oh, the best record because they stretch the floor. They have shooters. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, the Sixers have the second best record.
I mean, so I know they got Mitchell,
Yes,
but he ain't a good 3-point shooter.
he's actually shooting a career high from 3 this year.
Yeah, well, it was the last game he went 0 for 9, so we'll figure out what he really is soon, I guess.
I mean, yeah,
But
who's
to
their
push- to
3-point shooter? Ingles off the bench.
Ingles.
push them over the top of these guys that are on free agent market. To push them over the top. I mean, they have shooters. What, they possibly need another defender?
They got a rim protect. You got the rim protection with Gobert. He's probably one of the best.
Who's coming off the
centers.
bench for Gobert? That's what I want to know. Who's coming off the bench for Gobert?
Favors. I think.
Yeah, Derek Favors is
Who's
back in Utah.
Derek Favors?
Derek
I
Favors.
mean, Derek Favors is good, but I mean, an Aldridge?
That'd be interesting
Wouldn't
because
be
they have
bad for them.
Mike Conley
I mean,
as well.
Yeah, I mean, Aldridge can. Aldridge, like, people don't realize. Aldridge can stretch the floor a little bit, too.
Yeah,
He
he can.
has that
Yeah,
good. 15,
I mean they got
he has a good 15, 17 foot jumper.
Ilyasova.
They have
Ilya Silva is a
solid team.
knockdown.
I mean, but like a sneaky Aldridge pickup kind of thing. I feel like that's going back. He's kind of like, going back to the old school post Malone kind of days. Karl Malone, post.
He said Post Malone. Hello?
Yeah, Post
Got
Malone.
Post
Yeah,
Malone kind of days.
Post Malone. Yeah, Karl Malone in the post. Karl Malone was a post player.
Yeah, he's the postman, not Post
Postman.
Malone.
Post Malone's a
Post
white
Malone.
rapper.
Postman.
He's not even a rapper.
But I feel like that would be a good fit for Aldridge.
Yeah, I mean,
I feel like that's a good system.
they have the
Because
6th man of the year.
He's used to that. He's used to that slow paced San Antonio kind of feel, and I feel like, I mean, it kind of puts it in. I mean, they're a little bit more at pace and everything because they got Donovan Mitchell and everything, kind of be more on the run kind of thing. But I feel like that's a good fit for Aldridge.
Do you think Aldridge gets him over the top to beat the Lakers?
Possibly yes. It gives another defensive presence. It gives another big body. He could stretch the floor at the big man, make the big man come out and play. Because then you would have, if you could have at one time, if you could do a lineup, Aldridge, Goody Robert, Mitchell, who else is in there?
Mike
lineup? I can't
Mike
remember.
Conley.
Mike Conley. I'm missing one person.
Ingles is coming off the bench.
Yeah.
What the hell?
I think the team that has the best shot to beat the Lakers, if they pick up another piece, is Phoenix. Honestly,
Do you?
that Phoenix roster is already a good roster.
The only issue with Phoenix is DeAndre Ayton has produced at a very low number. DeAndre Ayton has shown that he shouldn't have been the number 1 pick. DeAndre Ayton, I was hoping would have been a stud. He is a bust, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. Matt, I agree. I thought he was going to be like the next coming of Shaq with a shot.
I didn't think Shaq. I thought, this is going to sound weird. I actually thought we were going to get a healthy Greg Oden type player. That's what he reminded me of Greg Oden.
No, yeah, I'm just
he's
thinking of
averaging-
his size and his.
Or do y'all
his
even know what the
dominance.
dude's averaging this year? Because you're dumping on him, and he's averaging a double-double,
Yeah, but he got
and he's a rookie. 14 and a half and 11 boards on the season
Yeah.
as a rookie.
he got benched against Philly.
He's also the third to fourth scoring option on that team right now.
Yeah.
Devin Booker, number 1. Okay. Crowder can hit the three.
Crowder's a great
Chris
defender.
Paul, Dario Saric,
Sarge, I wish we would have had back.
But I feel
Mikal Bridges.
I know. Ayton's giving you
Ayton doesn't have to score.
I feel like he should be that 20-point big man.
But on the current roster, he doesn't need to be.
He does.
Ayton's issue, now, this is going to sound crazy when you look at this roster, and Frank the Tank is getting more minutes. At one point, he was getting more minutes than DeAndre Ayton, because when DeAndre Ayton, I'm not going off of numbers. When I say DeAndre Ayton is a bust, I'm speaking, DeAndre Ayton was supposed to come in and be a physical, dominant presence in the post defensively. DeAndre Ayton has been a liability. Joel Embiid's eating him up. Rudy's eating him up. Bam ate him up. He's supposed to be this bigger guy.
You just named the three best centers in the fucking game right now, basically.
Yeah, but
these guys ate him up, so he's trash.
But if Frank Kaminsky,
because he can't guard JoJo and Gobert as a rookie, who the hell can?
But Kaminsky could come in and guard him better. Kaminsky has done a better job defensively than DeAndre Ayton has.
That's great. Is he averaging 14.5 on 11 and the second best roster in the West, second best team in the West right now? No, he's not. Y'all are dumping on a guy who's a rookie.
Yeah.
And saying, he should be able to shut down Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid's the best center in the game.
He's in his third season.
And again, he doesn't need to be the guy there. Devin Booker's the guy there.
No, I wasn't
the guy there.
I didn't want him to. When DeAndre Ayton was drafted, I was not expecting DeAndre Ayton to come in and be this world beater offensively.
I did because of what you saw
at Arizona
in college.
Yeah.
Yes. Hyped the shit out of this man.
He was overhyped. I agree. Maybe he shouldn't have been the number one pick, but he's not garbage.
He's not garbage, but with the way he played in college, and then the way
he a role player than a star right
correct.
now. Yeah, but
he's a role player that is
developed to more than that, possibly, but he doesn't need to right now. He's not in a situation where he's going to be able to do that right now either, because that's a 3-point shooting team.
He's a role player that I was hoping would have been a better defender, and he's not that great of a defender.
What I'm getting as Ayton is disappointing. If let's say you put him on any other team, is he doing any better?
It depends on his touches, I guess. He's not.
Is he going to be doing any better? Like these other teams that need centers, is he going to do any better? Is he going to be more of a presence?
If you open it up that broad, and you're talking about teams that need a center, if he's in LA with LeBron, he's probably a better offensive. He's probably a better offensive weapon.
Anybody. Listen, I can go play for the Lakers right now, and I have LeBron on my side. I'd be fucking looking great.
Brooklyn, he'd probably be a better offensive weapon.
No, he'll be that defensive presence they need.
I hope. He's not that good defensively. That's what's killing his minutes right now.
There we go.
So when you look at this Phoenix team, Rob, you mentioned it. This Phoenix team is built very, very well. They've done a very good job drafting. They've done a very good job They've done a very good job at getting younger guys in trades and in free agency. And then they went and got the vet piece in Chris Paul. This team is built correctly.
Everywhere you look on that roster, bro, there's guys that are averaging 10 plus points on the year right now. Like, their scoring is ridiculous. Any given night, like, they got 7, 8 guys on that roster that are all averaging over 10 points a game right now.
I think the biggest thing with Phoenix, if you were to talk about Phoenix beating Philly, if you were talking about Phoenix beating Utah or the Lakers in a 7-game series, they need a little bit more depth, a guy that could come off the bench and actually control the minutes that he's playing. Sarge, I believe, is starting again. They were slowly walking him back in because of an injury. He is their power forward.
But I'm just saying, he's over 10 points a game. Johnson, Cameron Johnson is over 10 points a game right now. Those two guys are coming off the bench.
What I'm saying is they need a okay. So actually, you know what? We'll throw him into this conversation. Buddy Hield makes a lot of
And
sense.
their entire. Yeah, I think Buddy Hield does make a lot of sense there.
Buddy Hield makes a lot of sense to Phoenix, coming in as a sixth man who's going to be able to. He's not okay. Buddy Hield isn't going to be a guy that's going to go out there and cross you up like Kyrie Irving, go to the bucket, or step back and hit a three. He's a better catch and shoot. You know, maybe when he's in his rhythm, you know, you could trust him to go to the basket and make something happen.
That's fine. You don't need him to make something happen because that's what Chris Paul's on the team.
He can be
Chris Paul's on the team to make shots happen.
He can be the leader of the second team, and I think that's what Phoenix is missing, the guy who could give you 17 to 20 off the bench. There's not many in the league, but the teams that do compete the teams that do compete at a high level and win championships have guys on the bench that are giving you ridiculous numbers that are coming in starting lineups for different teams.
Yeah, no, what I'm saying, I don't disagree because Buddy Hield can play the 2 and the 3, which means you can have him in when Devin Booker's off the floor to give Booker a break, and he can still score and defend, and he can play for Bridges and be on the court at the same time as Paul and Booker as well. Like, he can be on the court in a couple of different rotations for them where he would make a huge impact.
Yeah.
And you said he's a spot-up shooter. That's great. He's going to be on the court with Chris Paul, who's one of the greatest point guards of all time, and he'll dot him up every time.
I think Phoenix is a little bit further out to actually competing. I'd
love to see this Mavericks team wake up, but we're getting, late in the season here, and they're still not looking fantastic.
This is a resemblance of a team in the East in Boston. Dallas has been dealing with injuries all season long. Porzingis just came back. He's played, I think, 7 games since his injury. So, when they're fully healthy, you know what you're getting from Dallas. But their injuries have kind of left them on the outside now looking in, being at the 8th spot. So, I mean, that's kind of what, is hurting Dallas the same way it's hurting Boston. They're hurt. They've been hurt. And, I think it had a lot to do. What you're starting to see is a lot of these teams that were in the bubble last year are dealing with injury more than other teams. Dallas dealt with injuries early on in the season, middle of the season. Miami had a point where they weren't even in the playoffs. Jimmy Butler was hurt and then had COVID. So,
yep. It's been a strange year with that kind of stuff. Now the Lakers are hurt and you're watching them drop.
Yeah, now the Lakers are hurt.
That they shouldn't be dropping.
So Phoenix is... I don't want to say this because I'm going to sound maybe uneducated. Phoenix is a fluke.
I don't know.
I don't think this Phoenix team...
Chris Paul wins everywhere he goes. It's not a fluke. It's Chris Paul. Chris Paul's a winner.
Yeah, but
Everywhere Chris Paul goes, they win.
I don't think this Phoenix team is a top 4 team in the West in a regular 82-game season.
Ooh, I have to disagree with you.
I would disagree with you too. Who's better than him?
I would have to disagree.
Who's the 4 teams you would put in front of him in the West? That's what I want to know.
With no injuries?
With no injuries.
I mean, it's all great to talk about no injuries, but
if you're talking no injuries, Lakers, Jazz,
obviously,
Clippers.
No.
The Clippers.
The Clippers are better.
Clippers are better than the Phoenix team.
No.
Denver.
Okay. No.
Nope.
Dallas.
Dallas, yes.
I don't know. I think Denver's better.
I have them at 4. If you're going to tell me all teams are healthy, okay, then the Lakers are 1. to me. Dallas is 2, Utah is 3, and Phoenix is 4. And I think 2 through 4 are close.
I would take Denver. I think I'm missing a team. But I'm not sure if I'm actually missing one.
Look, I think that Denver team is very good. I'd put them probably 5 or 6. They're a good team. They're missing something to be a real contender still, and they can't figure it out. For the past couple years now, I feel like they're just not quite there, and they haven't been able to get themselves there. And honestly, I think it's after their starting 5, their bench is weak. But
wait.
off topic now, so.
Quick point.
Okay.
Do you have the Suns better than a healthy Warriors team? I knew there was a team I forgot.
Than a healthy Warriors team?
Yeah.
This year's Warriors team?
If the Warriors were healthy right now with Klay Thompson and Steph Curry, is the Phoenix Suns better than that team?
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, because they're deeper.
Yeah. You read off the healthy Warriors starting 5.
Curry, Clay, Andrew Wiggins, Draymond Green, and then their big center. I forget the rookie.
Andrew who?
Wiggins, a defender?
Andrew who? Andrew Wiggins has been a fucking bust since he came into the league.
He's been playing better with Golden State.
Andrew Wiggins.
He's averaged almost 18 points a game.
I don't care. He's a fucking bust since he came into the league.
He's been playing better with Golden State.
That's great. And you're saying they're gonna beat the Phoenix Suns? Hell, no fucking way.
Yeah.
Nope.
Who the hell is their center?
I don't think it would be a terrible series.
James Wiseman. James Wiseman has shown more than DeAndre Ayton has in 3 years.
I agree. James Wiseman's a dog, but I don't think they'll beat the Suns.
You got them over Portland?
Who?
Phoenix.
The Suns? It's tough with the Portland. Like, Portland's hot and Portland's not. Like,
it depends. It depends what Dame Lillard shows up for the series.
Yeah, it depends. You know
when Dame Lillard's doing his thing, he can knock games from any team in the NBA.
You know, it's very hard with the Portland Trailblazers. Portland Trailblazers is a great team when they're fully healthy, but it's depending on where Damian Lillard's head is at. That's the question.
He's usually clutch. It really depends on can Dame actually get some damn help.
No, he never will.
The dude's averaging 30 a night, I think, this year with like 8 assists and 5 boards.
Yeah,
how much more do you want him to do?
Well, CJ McCollum's been hurt, and Carmelo Anthony's found the fountain of youth because he's averaging, I think, like 23 points a game.
Yeah, he's balling out.
14, bro. 14 points a game.
He's only averaging 14?
Yeah, you said that. I had to look it up.
There's no way he's dude, I've seen like multiple games in a row where he's in the 20s.
I'm just telling you in his last 10 he's averaged 15.6.
All right, so I'm definitely watching
regular seasons he's got 42 games played and he's averaging 14 points.
I'm over here watching NBA 2K.
However, he is shooting 38.7 from 3 this year, which is a respectable ass number to be coming off the bench. So I mean, he's hitting shots. I guess. You know, and they have a good defensive center in Ernest Cantor.
He's averaging.
I wish could score better.
He's averaging 14 in 25 minutes. That's actually
Yeah.
Respectable.
Very respectable.
Shaq was looking at his minutes.
That wouldn't surprise me.
They also got Robert Covington on the roster. He's not a bad player.
Isn't Rodney Hood with
Trailblazer...
the Jazz now?
No, Hood's with Portland.
Oh, that's right. He went from Portland.
Unless
He went
he got
from
moved.
Utah to Portland.
Yeah, unless he got moved and I didn't hear about it. He's with Portland still.
All right, completely off topic stuff.
There's a lot of good roster out west, though. But yeah, I mean, I think we can wrap up free agency here. I think we know the teams that are in it, and it's your contenders, like it always is. It's teams looking for a guy to get them to what they perceive as the next level.
Yeah, so Philadelphia, go get me Buddy Hield, Lonzo Ball, J.J. Redick, and LaMarcus Aldridge.
Oh my God!
Yeah, just go get
them everybody.
So get a whole
Go get them everybody.
Daryl Morey, if you need help in this 24 hours, give me a call. I'll answer, and I'll get on the phones. We'll trade everybody besides Ben. Toby, and Joel. Don't worry about draft picks. We need championships.
See how well spending all your money in one shot worked out for your Eagles. But with that, closing the podcast here.
Yeah. Philly Frenzy out.